Gilmore.
Just 2 months ago, on the 30th of March, the Minister for Finance came into the House and announced that the government was providing €8,300 million of taxpayers' money to recapitalise Anglo-Irish Bank. That was on top of the €4,000 million that had already been committed to that bank in 2009. And this week, just 2 months on, the Minister for Finance announced yet another €2,000 million of taxpayers' money for Anglo-Irish Bank, bringing to €14,300 million the total amount of taxpayers' money that has now been committed to Anglo-Irish. Now, Taoiseach, on the day of the guarantee, the bank guarantee, you came into this House and you assured us that nothing of that kind was likely to happen. To remind you, you said, with regard to the guarantee, there have been what I regard as misleading indications as to the exposure being placed on the taxpayer. You went on to tell us that the banking system in Ireland had assets which exceed its liabilities, and you said that it is important to make the point that in the event of any further call, it is my intention to ensure the Irish taxpayer will not be held liable in any way for any deficit that might occur in the event of there being a problem in the future. Now, Taoiseach, I have 3 questions for you. First of all, do you now acknowledge that you were wrong when you said that, and that there has in fact been a very substantial call on the Irish taxpayer for Anglo-Irish Bank in particular, and I'm just concentrating on that particular bank today? Secondly, can you tell us what is the bottom of the pit as far as Anglo-Irish is concerned? We've now committed, taxpayers' money has now been committed to the tune of €14,300 million. How much more is going to be paid over to this bank or committed to it? And what is the bottom line? And thirdly, can you clarify for the House a statement which was made by the Minister for Finance when he announced the €2,000 million this week? And in the statement that he issued, he said that Anglo's restructuring plan is being submitted to the European Commission, and that discussions between the Commission, the Department and the bank on the restructuring plan will continue, and the future of the bank will be determined by these discussions. Can I ask you what is meant by the future of the bank in that context, and will you clarify for the House or tell the House if the government is now in fact considering an orderly wind down of that bank? It's extraordinary, Cancórla, that it seems we have 2 different types of language now when we talk about public money, taxpayers' money. When we talk about money that's needed for schools and special needs assistance and pensioners and people who are on social welfare, employees of the state with regard to their income, the country is broke and there's no money for them. When we come to talk about the money that is going into Anglo-Irish Bank, we talk about billions as if it were monopoly money and that it doesn't matter. Taoiseach, to cut to the answers to the questions that I'm asking, are you now saying to us that on the day that you came in and the Minister for Finance came into the House here and asked the House to guarantee this bank, that bank was bust? Yeah. Secondly, what are you saying about the bottom line? You've said to us that with €14,300 million already gone into it, there might be another €8,000 million that might have to go into it. And are you saying it might even be more than that? Because there was an uncertainty around what you were saying. And thirdly, what exactly are you saying about the future of this bank now? I did hear you say that one of the options that is now being considered is a winding up of the bank over different timescales and different time scenarios. The Minister for Finance, when he came into the House here, when he was talking to us here on the 30th of March, said, and I quote from him, he said, "The winding up the bank is not and was never a viable option." Is it now a viable option, albeit in a timescale that has to be determined with the Commission and discussed with the bank? You know, I think that people of the country whose taxes and whose money is now being used to be poured into this bank, and who are likely to be saddled with the cost of that for years to come, I think need to hear with some degree of certainty what exactly is happening with this bank. And while you're at it, can you explain to us how the government ended up appointing 3 more insiders as non-executive directors of this bank? One of them a former finance director of AIB, another a former Fianna Fáil senator. And in case you think that I'm making that as a political charge, I'm using the term insider, which was used in one of the national newspapers commenting on it this week, which described it as your government's obsession with insiders and your government not having learned anything from the way in which corporate governance of the banks has been handled in years past.